Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Iyun Shulchan Orach. Today is Siman Mem Test 49. We're going to talk about a little known halacha, not so known. People don't know this halacha so much. There's two halachas that says in the Gemara and Gittin on Daf Samich. One halacha is very well known that you're not supposed to, the oral Torah, the Torah Shabbat, you're not supposed to write down. We have Mishnah Berurah that I'm reading from, written down. We have Gemaras, all of Shas on your bookshelf, displayed prominently in your living room, in your dining room. What happened? So the Gemara addressed this. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi decided we got to write Mishnayos down. We're forgetting them, right? The whole purpose was that you shouldn't write down the Torah Shabbat because this is true, I believe. I've written down Chidushei Torah before. Once you write it down, you leave it on the paper. It's gone from your mind. It's on the paper, and it's not so helpful because if you want to remember your Chiddush, you have to go reread it. And sometimes when you read something the second time, it's harder. You don't know what you're reading. First of all, you can't read the handwriting, because some people's handwriting is awful. I mean, most people's handwriting is awful. I have a really hard time reading other people's handwriting. My handwriting is pretty neat, but even when I go back to Chidushim, you go back to them 2-3 years later, like, what the heck was I writing? Like, you grow in your thought process. It doesn't make any sense to you anymore, so it doesn't really help to write it down. I mean, it does help that we have the Torah Shabbat Peh. We probably would not have the Torah Shabbat Peh if it wasn't written down, but that's the main reason you shouldn't write down Torah Shabbat Peh, so you shouldn't forget it. And there's another halacha in Gittin on the same daf, which says that Dvarim Shebichtav, right? Torah Shebichtav, Tanakh, which is supposed to be written down, right? The Chumash and the Nevi'im and the Ksuvim, it's supposed to be written down. That you're not allowed to say by heart. You have to read it from a Chumash, from the Torah, presumably from Sefer Torah. You can't do that. So here comes the heter. The heter is, this halacha, is you're allowed to say Kriya Shema, Baal Peh, even though Kriya Shema is something part of the Torah Shebichtav. Since everybody knows it, so the reason being, presumably just like the reason you can't write down Torah Shabbat Peh is because you're going to forget it. Here, the reason you can't say Torah Shebichtav Baal Peh, you can't say it by heart orally, is because you're going to make a mistake. You're going to forget. You're going to make a mistake, right? You thought you remember Kriya Shema, you said it wrong. No, Kriya Shema, and everybody knows you're not going to make a mistake. So you're not going to make a mistake. It's okay. It's the same thing. He brings over here a certain. If you're a summa, you could a blind person. You could say Esal Hashem Eferes Shasecha, the same heter they use over there. There is a concern you're gonna make a mistake. But basically, the theme throughout the Mishnah Berurah is that the idea of being behind this halacha is you're gonna make a mistake. So if you know, everyone knows it by heart, you're not gonna make mistakes. There's no problem. But I want to go back to what we've been talking about in the previous couple of simanim, especially with Birchas Torah. There's two mitzvahs of Torah. There's the oral Torah, and then there's Torah Shebichtav. And the mitzvah of oral Torah is the limud, right? It said limad demosam in Parshas Kriya Shema. Limud Torah. Limud is to understand, to know. And that's Torah Shabbat Peh. Torah Shebichtav, which is primarily, we only, have connection with it because we read it every week on Shabbos, and read the first Aliyah on Monday and Thursday, and Shabbos afternoon. So we have familiarity with the Torah Shebichtav and Nevi'im and Ksuvim, where you'd have Torahs from them. So we do. If you don't do Nach Yomi, like my mother who does Nach Yomi, my mother is the biggest, one of the most prominent learners. I mean, prominent, that's not the right word. I mean, she's one of the biggest backers of Nach Yomi. I think she's done it already one cycle. I think she's on our second cycle. She just keeps on going. And my mother, I'm going to say this on air if she's listening, she listens to most of my stuff. So my mother also started Mishnah Yomi, the new thing. And that's why I started giving a shir Mishnah Yomi. So my mother's learning, and I got to give a shir Mishnah Yomi, maybe help my mother out. And then I started Shulchan Aruch Yomi. And before I even started the shirim, she wanted to buy a Shulchan Aruch. She said, "Do we have a Shulchan Aruch in the house?" I said, "I'm thinking for a second." I'm like, "No, we don't have a Shulchan Aruch at my parents' house." And then I'm like, "Actually, we have a Mishnah Berurah. I mean, the first quarter of Shulchan Aruch, actually more than a quarter of Shulchan Aruch, is Mishnah Berurah. It's on the top of the Mishnah Berurah." I said, "We have an old copy of Mishnah Berurah. It happened to be her father's old copy of Mishnah Berurah." So she was very excited about that. So my mother's a proud member, not just of Nach Yomi, but also Mishnah Yomi and Shulchan Aruch Yomi. Maybe the first member of Shulchan Aruch Yomi besides me will give the shir. So she does all these things. My mother must be like a Gilgul of like an amazing Talmid Chacham. I don't know. She's probably, I don't know. She's something else that she. Listen, it's great. I have no problem with it. Some people say women shouldn't learn Torah. I mean, she uses it for positive things. She connects to it. She learns things from it. So anyway, shout out to my mom for joining all my shiurim but she learns Nach Yomi. So most people don't learn Nach. It's often in yeshiva they make a joke that people where do they know Nach from? They know it from the Gemaras that quote the Nach. That's the only place they know Nach from. They don't know Nach. My mother knows Nach only better than me and other people. So anyway, Nach is part of Tanakh, and those are all Torah Shebechtav. So Torah Shebechtav, we were saying the whole reason Torah Shebechtav shouldn't be because you're gonna make a mistake. If you say it Baal Peh, you're gonna make a mistake. I like to say that's not the reason. This is not the reason. I say that Torah Shebechtav is a different mitzvah, and we know that you're supposed to. It says at the end of Mezakas Megillah, "Vayidaber Hashem was Moadei Hashem al Bnei Yisrael." It's a mitzvah to read about the Moadim Bismanam. And I think we also learned there on Shabbos, right? That's like Shabbos. The Parsha Shavua was based on that you read the Kriyas HaTorah of the Moadim about the Moed on the Moed. It's also Shabbos is one of the Moadim. You're supposed to read about Shabbos. Shabbos is that week's Parsha. That week's Parsha also, that's Kriyas HaTorah, and Kriyas HaTorah has nothing to do with understanding or knowing the Torah. It's about giving significance and kavod to the Torah. That's why we have Hakel. We're supposed to have Hakel. This is coming up. It should be Hakel. Motzei Shvi is after Shemitah year. I think Motzei Yom Tov Rishon of the first day of Sukkot, right? Coming up in a couple months. It's supposed to be Hakel. The base of English is around. And the Gemara says that even not just the men come, the men come to understand, the women come l'shmoa, and they bring the kids also, l'havi skar l'miviyeh, and also to bring the children. It's an awesome experience. Just an experience, like going to Birkas Kohanim at the Kosel with all those Kohanim over there. It's not just so much everyone knows it here. It says in the Shulchan Aruch, everyone knows Birkas Kohanim by heart, but to hear all those Kohanim at one time, it's just an incredible moment, an incredible event, an incredible experience. So that is part of the mitzvah of Kriyas HaTorah. Nothing to do with understanding or knowing the Torah. So if that's true, then when the Gemara in Gittin says that Dvarim Shebechtav, you're not supposed to say Yata Rasha L'Omer Baal Peh, you're not supposed to say Baal Peh, it has nothing to do with the fact that you make a mistake, right? That it's going to make a mistake in the knowledge or the understanding of what's in the Torah Shebechtav. The problem is that you're going to mezalzel, right? You're lacking the Kavod Torah. Kavod Torah is supposed to be from a Sefer Torah primarily, right? Which is Sefer Torah has tremendous kedusha. It's Tashmish kedusha. It's Ashuris. It has to be dio al klaf, it has to be on the best type of leather. So there's a certain kavod Torah, a certain awesomeness over here, and you're taking away from that awesomeness. If you read it in a printed chumash, okay, maybe that's okay. But to say Baal Peh, that is not okay. So who cares the fact that everybody knows Kriya Shema? Still, you're being mazalz on Kriya Shema, which is part of Torah Shebechtav. We say Baal Peh, maybe there should be no heter over here, but there is a heter. So this is the first time I think on camera that we learned in Gemara and Ksuvos today. Yesh horal ister. Is there a horal ister? Right? It's like Ben Seal Lang. Is he ever going to say something that people think is mutter? It's going to usher? It's usually the opposite, right? People think it's mutter. I'm telling you. People think it's usher. I'm telling you it's mutter. Here I'm telling you maybe it should be usher over here. But again, I'm not a rabbi, so you don't have to be machmir. You could be making or lie on the Shulchan Aruch and say Kriya Shema and all of Sefer Tehillim Baal Peh. That's just my 2 cents on it. Hope you enjoyed. See you tomorrow.